video, I will show you how to mate lone king with king and queen. It is fairly simple and usually takes about 10 moves. Should be done in 9, but doesn't really matter. So there are two ways to do that. Um, the first way doesn't follow any specific pattern, but you just play natural moves, cutting off the king and slowly mating him. And the second method, I'll talk about second method later. So the first thing that is important to know is that you cannot mate a king while he is in the center. So you have to drive him to the edge of the board, somewhere here, or if he goes there, it will be even easier to mate him. How do you do that? Well, basically you should use your king and queen combined. That way you will be the most effective. You can do it only with the queen, but that's the second method. I'll talk about it later. So let's start. First part of the plan is to bring the king in the center to help cut the king out. Let's say we go here. So black's best defense is to stay somewhere in the center, so he'll try to do that. But now we can basically play almost any move. But let's say we move our queen here. This way we are still keeping control of this C file, and at the same time we are cutting these two squares, as you can see. So now he can either go up or he could go down. Let's say he went, instead of up, let's say he went down. Let's say here. So what you can do now, you just have to think. Okay, he didn't want to go up, he went down, so now there is a chance to cut him off across the fourth rank, and this is how you do it. Now he will never cross this rank, so he is only limited to these squares, and that's where he will meet his fate. Let's say he tries to prevent your king from approaching. Well, you can just give him a check, and when he goes to the side, you can continue approaching. And if he goes up, you continue approaching. If he goes more here, you continue approaching. Let's say he opposes you, you give him a check, he goes here, you approach him, he goes here, and now you can choose. You can either give him mate here, 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 or here. So it's actually 5 possible mates. So that was fairly simple. But let's say he went up the board in that position. Well, you just continue approaching him with your king, like this. And now, as you see, the king is taking this square, and the queen is taking these two squares, as well as this sixth rank. So he would be forced to back down, and in this way you can continue taking his squares from him. Now the king is covering these two squares, and the queen is doing a good job. I mean, this square was taken by the king as well, but never mind. As you can see, he's running out of squares. Let's say he goes here, you approach him, take these two squares, he has to back down, pardon. You continue approaching, you give him a check, let's say like this. Or, I mean, this is now the fastest way, but let's say I'll show you the mate. You give him a check, he goes down, you approach, and you can mate him. But let's say that here, instead of giving him this check, you played here. And now there comes a spot where there is the only way you can possibly not win this position. That is if black sets you a trap. Let's say he goes here. And if you keep cutting his squares off with your king, with playing king here, here, or here, let's say we go here, what has happened is you took too many squares from him, but you haven't given him a check at the same time. So, as you can see, the king cannot go here and here because of the queen, here and here because of the king and queen, and here because of the queen, and it's his turn to move, so it's what we call a stalemate. That's why when he went here, you should avoid playing this forward move with the king and just make another cut along this g file. And now he is pretty much trapped. You just go here, and that's it. But let's say that you are in some kind of time pressure and you want to mate him as quickly as possible, not in terms of number of moves, but in terms of time. Like, let's say you're playing over the board and you have to move fast and you don't want to stalemate him. This is what you can do. You can play a move like this, and essentially what you're doing, you're positioning your queen in relation to the king. So they are in a distance of a knight move. Let's say this was a knight. If it would move like this, yeah, and attacking the king. And wherever he goes, let's say he goes here, you go again towards him on a square, which would give him a check if this was a knight. So I don't know if you can realize what I'm doing here. Basically, this is what you're doing. So you see, whenever he moves, I go here. So this is a knight relation. I mean, I just named it like that, but it doesn't. So you keep doing it. He goes there, you go there, and you keep doing it. And once he is here, you don't continue with that same thing, because if you put your queen here, as you can see, it's a stalemate. But now you just approach your king. And once your king is near, you will just mate him very easy. Watch this. That's it. So as you can see, I'll just show you this pattern once again. You just keep putting your queen in a relation with the black king as the knight would be in a relation with it to give him a check. And you keep doing it until you force him in the corner. Then you approach with your king, not like this, but like this. And why is this useful? Well, let's say you only have 10 seconds on your clock and you really want to make fast, easy moves. And this is how you do it. You just keep putting your queen in a knight move distance with the black king, and then you keep approaching with your king once you force him on the end of the board, and you mate him. And that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that now it's much easier for you to mate with king and queen. Goodbye.